Hey mamas, it's Kristen Noel, founder of the Intuitive Divorce, and I'm popping on here straight after class with my beautiful team member, Master Coach Joe Young. And we just did a deep dive today we did a deep dive into a lot of things, but in particular to the subject of normalizing dysfunction. And that really hit like a lead balloon because there is a segue to this divorce. There's a story and patterns and a history that led up to this divorce. And oftentimes, what is included in that story is the normalization of dysfunction, the normalization of what should not have been normalized. And this is a part of divorce. It's a part of making this discovery. And better yet, it's a part of what am I going to do with it now? And one of the things that we really focus on is not beating ourselves up about what we did before or what we allowed or how we became people pleasers or put on happy faces and presented in a certain way, pretended we were okay, tried to fix and control that which is not ours to fix and control. It's not about beating yourself up. Actually, I would counter that and say it's about celebrating that you see it now. And if you see it now, then you can move into the now what? And there are obviously many, many layers to that. But the first thing that we really wanted to dive into, it's amazing how these themes seem to percolate with all the mothers. I mean, listen, they're in different places in their divorces. They have different stories. They have different circumstances. They're different people. It's not cookie cutter, but there are themes of self-abandonment. And when a woman starts to lean in and realize, I haven't been seen, I haven't been heard, I haven't been validated, I've lost pieces and parts of myself, I no longer recognize myself, and she wants to make a change, it usually includes this revelation of seeing where she normalized dysfunction or way she found a way to dance with it. And it was a big topic of discussion and a really juicy topic of discussion because, again, not about making yourself feel guilty, not about beating yourself up, not about judging yourself, celebrating, celebrating because this is breaking free. It's not about just breaking free from a dysfunctional relationship. This is breaking free of old patterns and limited thinking and things you just weren't ready to face yet.
Yeah, it's so true. We didn't intend to start off with this subject today, but this is where it led. And this is the beautiful thing about this program, right? Is that we show up and we check in and we approach and talk about and lean in together around whatever's present. And so this is what was present today. And across the board, each person was like, yes, me too, me too, me too, me too. And so, this concept of normalizing dysfunction is something that we as humans all do because, let's face it, we all like what's familiar. And so, if dysfunction is what is familiar, we begin to see that as our baseline. And that's what we talked about today. And so, when we are able to back up enough and go, whoa, this isn't working for me anymore, and we start to look at it, that is when we finally see, oh, wait a second. What I thought was normal, quote unquote, is only normal for me. It doesn't mean that this is the way it's supposed to be. And so, yeah, we can only change what we see. So we always celebrate in each and every mom when they are able to see something that they weren't able to see before. It's like, oh, beautiful. Now your opportunity arises, to your point of this is when you can step into the okay, now what? But the first step is realizing that sitting back and wondering why you've kept yourself in situations for as long as you have, asking why you got into this in the first place can serve a purpose at some point. But most of the time, the why isn't what's helpful. What's helpful is recognizing that I simply am seeing something that I wasn't able to see before, and now I'm ready. And it's such a beautiful, painful,
I was
What
going to say,
beautiful
it doesn't mean
opening.
it feels comfortable.
No, no. In fact, it feels the opposite from comfortable because
Right.
what you're saying is, oh, what I thought was so normal actually is what has gotten me to this place of feeling so out of touch with me. That's gotten me to this place of feeling like all of this grief and pain and frustration and all the things that come along with it. And so seeing it is the first step.
Right. So the thing that's so beautiful about this group container is that it is a place where you are safe to just let it out and to talk about it and to process it and workshop it and reflect back and forth with other mothers in the group. So we'll just break it down. So one woman in the group today was sharing some pretty dramatic events that took place in the house. And I was like watching the screen and I could see everybody's face. And everybody in the room was like, what? Oh my God. Like, like this was really they couldn't believe what they were hearing. Okay. And this particular mother has really had to deal with these kinds of encounters and these kinds of conversations and these kind of interact actions with her husband in front of the children to the point where it's kind of normal. And when I was working one-on-one with her, and I don't really like to use the word normal, but let's just say okay or safe or healthy or the opposite of dysfunctional, it became her norm. It was happening kind of regularly in the house to the extent that her gauge was off, where, when something is playing out and playing out and playing out, and it's just kind of what goes on in your house, you don't think it's that bad. And so in this process of divorce, she's realizing this is not okay. The more she's healing, the more she's getting calm, the more she's setting boundaries, calming her nervous system, being able to communicate consciously and advocate for self, she's realizing, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't okay. This isn't okay in front of my children. I don't want to be living within this, and I don't want to be spoken to like this. It's kind of getting to that realization that, oh, maybe this is dysfunctional. And we really had to help her get to the point where, she was realizing this is a fire alarm. This isn't okay. It's not normal behavior. It's not healthy. It's not good energy in the house in front of the children. So we were seeing this in real time as she is really processing this and redefining what does safety mean? Safety isn't necessarily I'm in imminent danger of someone physically hurting me. It's also, do I feel calm? Do I like the energy of the house? Do I like who I am in this story? I mean, safety comes in many, many different flavors. But it's all a part of this process because maybe for the first time, you're saying no. You're saying no more. I don't want to dance in this dysfunction any longer. And something has to change. And nothing, as Joe, you always say, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so we have to instigate the change and we have to initiate and take action. And so that's what we really work to help moms do is to bring voice to what's going on and to the feelings and also really connecting with their bodies because your body will not lie.
That's the key.
You brought that. Okay, why don't you
That's the
talk about
key.
that? You brought that in today, and it was so good about how we get stuck in our head. So could you speak more about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing about familiar is, you know, normal, familiar is what we're used to. And you said something really important. You said the mind will often tell us, I don't think it's that bad. But the problem is the word think, right? Because think means it's all coming from here. So if we're waiting for our mind to go, hey, there's something off here, it's not going to happen. Where it happens is in your body. When your body feels constricted, when you feel like you can't breathe, when you feel like you're always on edge, right? Your body is telling you there is something off here. It's just hardly anyone is taught how to trust their body. And what we don't realize is almost all of our messages come from the body to the mind. So if our mind is going, no, we're going to keep you in the story that this is what's normal, this is what's familiar, it's not that bad, then your mind is keeping you in survival.
Hmm.
The body's job, the intuition, it's why it's so important what we do in this group, because we bring women back to being able to trust themselves. Trust what your body is trying to show you, trying to tell you, starting to scream at you. Don't wait until it's too late and you have to end up in such big dis-ease or really sideways before you make an action. If your body is telling you something is off, when you close your eyes and get quiet, if you know in the heart of you that something is not right, that's the dysfunction trying to speak, to say, hey, it's not okay what's going on here,
Hmm.
you know? So that's where every woman who comes to us has reached that point, right? They're not sure what it is most of the time, but I know that I don't want to be in this anymore, to your point of what you were saying, or I know I need out of this, or I know I deserve more, but they still can be normalizing what's happening behind the scenes. It's like we teach them how to go in and go, what would your body say about that right now?
Hmm.
Does your body feel unsafe? Because your body feels unsafe, you better believe there's something unsafe going on. And so pay attention to that. Notice that. If your body is saying this situation isn't all right, then it's not all right. So question that, get
And that's
curious about
enough.
it.
And that's
And
enough.
that's enough.
And
That's right.
and this is why it's called the intuitive divorce. And why the intuitive word means so much here, because your intuition is your your gut. It's your voice. It's your internal GPS. It will always tell you the truth. It won't tell you what you want to hear. And so when you connect to your body, it's an internal job. It's not an external job. It's not about taking polls. It's not about asking everybody else what you should do in your divorce. By the way, you're going to probably need to build a team around you. And that team will include people like an attorney or a financial advisor or a co-parenting counselor and hopefully a coach so that you can get through this in the best possible condition so that you can show up for the big decisions and the tough conversations and the triggering encounters. But ultimately, so you can lean in with calm authority and trust your choices. Trust the decisions you're making because they are aligned with who you are and what you want. The only way to do that is to get into alignment with your intuition, to hear yourself. And as Joe so beautifully reminds us, to align with the voice of your body, like to feel how this is in your body, not think about it, not tell the story. Listen, this is a very active PR management company up there. It's like it can spin a story. And we spin those stories. We laugh about them because we've all done it, but we spin those stories to survive. We
Yeah.
spin those stories to stay where we are, but we don't always need to stay where we are. We aren't always meant to stay where we are, especially if it's in dysfunction. And so
Mm.
it was such a beautiful, beautiful class today. And we got to hear from different mothers where that applied to their experience. And what's even more beautiful is to see the light bulbs pop in and turning on they catch themselves. They start to move differently. They start to realize, oh, wait a minute, that's old programming. That's an old narrative. That's limited thinking. Not doing that anymore. And it's so beautiful to witness because when they start making those connections, everything starts to connect. They start changing. Their divorce starts changing. Their outcomes start changing. How they feel starts changing. Their future changes. It's that
Their
big.
relationship with their children changes.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. So it's so wonderful. It's why we love this work so much, why we know the importance of getting in the gap. It's not all about like we talk to mothers each week who are struggling to get to fill out their financial affidavits and all this mounds of paperwork. But in between all of that, in between the court dates, in between all the sessions and the meetings and the bills and everything else is your life. And you can live a beautiful life even when you are facing the challenge of divorce, because as we always say, your kids are only going to be this age once. And it's not that we're expecting you to just paste on another happy face, because we know you can do that. But it's like there's a different way to face off with life adversity. And if you see it, you said something so great in class today also. I wrote it down. It was like if we could see the challenges in our life that we're faced with, we can choose to see them as either roadblocks or as stepping stones. And I think when you start to dance with life a little bit differently and you reframe what is happening, we're not denying the discomfort. We're not denying the fear or the overwhelm. We're just
Or the
dancing with it,
challenges.
or the challenges. We're just
Yeah,
dancing with it differently, processing it differently, looking at it differently, and trusting it differently. And the reason you're trusting it differently is because you're learning to trust yourself. You're learning to connect to your intuition, and that is a game changer. Bar none, I don't care. Number one, divorce strategy, and we're going to leave you with that one today. That's our truth bomb of the day.
that's our mic drop. Yes.
That's oh, God, you had a lot of mic drops today. I could have like ended class in 20 minutes. It is a beautiful, beautiful container. And I think the most important thing we want to leave you with is that there's a lot that's going to get, you know, you're going to like shake, rattle, and roll during this divorce. There's a lot that's going to come to the surface, things that may surprise you. And that is okay because this is your life and you are going through a transformation, but it can be glorious and beautiful. And you can put it back together in such a different way, a way that is healthy and aligned and that you can feel really good about. And you don't have to do it alone. So we are literally a phone call away. You can book a free call with us at any point to see if we're a match, and you can join this beautiful coaching program. It's completely transformative experience. But right now, at least make sure that you're checking us out at our website, intuitivedivorce.com. Make sure you're on our newsletter. Check out our app, Intuitive Divorce, and also on social media because we're constantly putting ways out just to remind you each and every day that there is a way to reframe this experience, that it's working for you instead of against you, and that this is temporary and you're going to get through it and you don't have to do it alone. And there's a lot of opportunity here for you.
Yeah. And like we like to do every week, we'll leave you with a prompt. So, where are you normalizing something that you no longer need to be normalizing? Where are
Mm,
you ready to make a shift? So, sit with that. And if we can help you in that process, let us know.
beautiful. Thank you for another gorgeous class.
Yes. See you next week.
See you next week.